Let's go over Disney's original plan for the Star Wars sequel trilogy. This is Mike Zero here once again. If you guys are new here to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, as you all know, the sequel trilogy consists of The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and Episode 9. Now, each of which is directed by J.J. Abrams, Rian Johnson, and J.J. Abrams once again for Episode 9, who, of course, originally Colin Trevorrow was supposed to direct Episode 9 before he was fired, where JJ took over. Now, Disney recently revealed the original plan for the sequel trilogy overall, and if you look at The Force Awakens as a film, the original drafts of the movie actually had Luke Skywalker in the storyline a lot, but unfortunately he was actually taken out of that story because apparently he really stole the show from the new characters such as Rey, Finn, and Poe, hence why they saved him for Star Wars Episode 8, which is of course The Last Jedi. Now, looking at The Last Jedi specifically, they wanted to have in the original drafts by J.J. Abrams, which we'll get into in just a couple seconds, they wanted to have Luke Skywalker essentially live it out to Episode 9. Now, that is of course until Rian Johnson took over from the original drafts by J.J. Abrams for Episode 8, and essentially created his own entire story. Even the Knights of Ren were involved in The Last Jedi as well, before Rian Johnson took over. Now, looking at all of this, even Daisy Ridley had this to say about the Star Wars sequel trilogy and Disney and Lucasfilm's plan when it comes to directors and writers. So Daisy had this to say in a brand new interview over in France. So she says, "Here's what I know. JJ wrote Episode 7 as well as drafts for Episode 8 and 9. Then Rian Johnson arrived and wrote The Last Jedi entirely. I believe there was some sort of general consensus on the main lines of the trilogy, but apart from that, every director writes and realizes his film in his own way. Rian Johnson and J.J. Abrams met to discuss all of this, although Episode 8 is still his very own work. I believe Rian didn't keep anything from the first draft of Episode 8 by J.J. Abrams." So looking at all of this, there were original drafts by JJ for Episode 8 and 9. Now, of course, one of which were taken over by Rian Johnson in The Last Jedi. Also, Colin Trevorrow had taken that over for Episode 9 as well, and ironically now JJ Abrams is back directing and working with Chris Terrio on the whole entire script and the production of the movie. So looking at all of this, I think that was one of the big questions, right? Is, of course, is there really a main plan for the sequel trilogy from start to finish? Or from the very start, for that matter, as opposed to just going, with the flow and playing it by year and by movie and how the production rolls out. You would think that they have this whole entire story and this idea from the very beginning. But apparently not. It changed. They originally did have drafts for all movies. They had ideas for each and every movie, including 8 and 9. And then as they go into the sequel trilogy with these new directors such as Rian Johnson and Colin Trevorrow, they took over those drafts by J.J. Abrams and created their own story, which they are able to do, but they didn't even use any parts of the drafts, and that's why I guess some fans notice a little bit of an inconsistency between each movie. If you look at The Force Awakens, I think that a lot of people are, having a problem with not a lot of the answers, being delivered in The Last Jedi from the big questions in The Force Awakens, such as one of the main ones, alright? Which is, of course, exactly how did Maz Kanata find Luke Skywalker's lightsaber? Now, we do know that Episode 9 will bring up more of those questions and will essentially answer them. How many of them will be answered, we don't know. But since JJ is back, he will be delivering those answers for us. Now, I don't know if he's going to, essentially answer everything. The other one for me, though, was why did we hear Obi-Wan Kenobi's voice in The Force Awakens? And I think that's why, we all assumed for him to return at some point in the sequel trilogy, and he very well could still in episode 9 for all we know. But overall, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments section, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.